All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Tamiya Ducati build, where we are on step 22, the front wheel, applying the decals around the edge and installing the rim and the small little decal on the inside of the rim. So as before we get started, I'm just trying to take the tire itself and just not trying to make it look race worn or anything, but just going around the edge with a sanding sponge and just trying to get some used look to it. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to put the rim on. So for that, we need piece C2, which is the only rim we have left, because that might give me a little bit more tension for the sanding. I didn't think about that. We need to paint this rim LP5. So we're going to do that first. All right. We have the rim painted LP5 semi-gloss black, and we have the seam sanded and gone. So we are ready for the crazy red decals that caused me so much fits on the last tire that I ruined a bunch of the stickers and I had to buy a new kit. So I bought a new kit, and then I even had Tamiya send me a replacement part that I also lost. So, which anytime you lose a part or missing a part or destroyed a part, reach out to Tamiya USA. They are very helpful, and most times I haven't been charged. I just got it in the mail, so pretty appreciative of Tamiya USA. Okay, so these decals, if you remember from the previous video, are not your dip in water and apply. They are cut out, lay in place, use water over the top of the decal to release it. So that's what we're going to try to do again. I'm going to try to do this. I should go back and watch my video to see how to do this again. Because like I said, I messed up pretty bad. So what happens is once you get it cut out, if you cut it out, oh my gosh. Okay, so we cut it out, and if you separate it, it separates with this wax paper. And then you turn the wax paper side face up, and we're going to position this on the tire. There's an arrow right here that it indicates arrow. So put it right close to that. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to fold this around. And we're going to hug it close to the inner rim. Then it's going to be a matter of getting it lined up, holding it in place, while we now dip our brush in water and we start applying it to that wax paper and start rubbing. So we're just going to take water and rub, try to keep it in place. Just rub it down. Then, don't rub too hard, because I rubbed too hard here and kind of broke the decal. So just kind of dampen it. Just kind of dampen it. And then you have a red line around the table, or around the tire. So I am going to do the rest of them, and I will be back to show you the results. All right, red lines are on the tire. Seam is sanded off the tire. I have one decal to go on. That's number 53. That goes on the inside of the rim by the tire valve. I've already put that in water, and it's ready to come out. I'm gonna squeak a chair. I need to go get some WD-40 to stop the chair. Oh, come on. Okay, so we're just gonna grab this decal here, and we're gonna lay it right down, right by this rim, this tire valve. I'm gonna push it around, and then we're gonna just do a drop, a little bit of Solvaset just to make sure she sets down. All right, we'll let that dry, and most likely I'll come back and go over it with a little bit of a flat clear. But for all intents and purposes, that completes step 22. So what we're going to do is we're going to start on step 23 in this same video, so we can finish all of this up and attach that tire and get it on the bike. So let me start gathering some parts, and I'll be right back. All right, I am back with the colors that we're going to need for this step. Of course, just like most of this bike, we'll need a lot of LP5 for the center of our brakes, all this webbing in here, and for I think that's it. We also are going to need, for the forks, the main body of the forks, we need LP1, which is a gloss black. We are going to need LP19, which is gunmetal. We are going to need LP48, which is going to act as a base coat for the bottom part of the fork. I'm trying to show you here. For the bottom part of the fork, it's supposed to look like an anodized metal, so we're going to use this as the base coat, which is a sparkling silver, and then after that's dry, go over it with a clear yellow, which they're calling for X24, which is the acrylic clear yellow. We're going to use the LP69, which is clear yellow. So those two will be used together for the bottom parts of the fork. We need LP11, which is a silver. I did not grab it. We need LP72, which is used for part of the center of the brake hub. But for the main part of the brake hub itself is LP70, which is gloss aluminum. So all those colors are going to be used. So I'm going to cut some pieces and clean them up and get them ready for paint. Be right back. In cleaning up these parts, I noticed that there is a seam running up and down these shock shafts, which is parts D21 and D22. So I'm just working at trying to get those gone so they don't show up when you paint. So I'm just going to try to sand those out until I feel they're gone. All right, everything is cleaned up. It's going to be some tricky masking on this step because this part here has to be LP11, which is a silver. This part has to be that mixture of sparkling silver and clear yellow. And this part has to be gloss black. So I think what I'm going to do, since this is pretty easy to mask, I'm going to paint the silver and the clear yellow. And then once that's dry, come back and mask that off. And then paint the gloss black. And once that's dry, leaving the masking here, mask off this and just shoot down here the silver. So that way everything's done. And, you know, it's just easier to do instead of hand painting and getting maybe not the effect I want. Just saw that. It's probably going to be on the inside of the fork, but still. Might as well get rid of it real quick. Just a quick little sand. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. We're going to paint those first. So then we're going to put all these in there and paint them their separate colors. So I shall be right back with some colors. All right, I got the sparkling silver down. So we are going to let that dry just a little bit, and then we're going to shoot the clear yellow over it, which is LP69. So we shall see what that looks like. And then hopefully it looks beautiful. So I'll be back with that color combination next. All right. Pretty happy with that. We got the clear yellow on over the silver, and that gives that kind of gold look. Of course, it looks kind of all muddled together because I haven't masked anything off, because eventually this is going to be all LP11, which is a silver, and this is all going to be gloss black, which that's what we're going to do now, is mask this section off that we painted and then paint the gloss black and then let that dry, mask all of that off and hit that with silver. So I'm going to try to guesstimate the width of the masking tape I'm going to need for this right here. It's just that chamber that needs to be well, you know what? Don't need to do that at all. We'll just cut a piece like this and a piece like this. And then what we'll do, we will take, we're definitely going to de-tack it because I don't want to pull up the silver or the yellow. I was going to use something different, like maybe parafilm, which I've used in the past, but I'm just going to, you know what, I'm going to test it right here. See if we mask it and rub it, see if it's going to come off, because that's going to be black anyway. And nothing came off, so I think we're safe. So I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this little piece. And we're just going to go right around the chamber. And then what we can do is complete it by pulling it up and making sure it's, I'm going to leave it up so I can grab it once it's all done, but it overlaps. So there, I don't have to have the exact size. In fact, I think I can grab this smaller size right here and do the same thing. Just tack it. So I'll take this other piece, start it down, butt it up against that section. Follow it around on this side. And there, our gold is masked off. So now it's ready for gloss black up here. I'm gonna go ahead and mask this one off and go shoot it. Whew, it scared me, I thought I had a scuff. And then go shoot it LP1, which is a gloss black. So I'll be back with the final result after I'm done masking. Thanks. Okay, we have the gloss black painted on the shock towers. So we're letting that dry. We're gonna go ahead and mask this area off in here to shoot that the semi-gloss black, which is the LP5. So I thought I was gonna have to cut using a circle template, but I think what I can do, since all of this is LP70 all the way around, I'm gonna go ahead and just mask all of this and then just shoot all of this and then come back and hand paint that and the little chrome nuts. So should be pretty easy. We're just going to take, it's not going to be really that extensive. It's going to be pretty easy, I think, if we just use the right. So if you come in and just kind of cover up part of the parts that are going to have to be these little bolt heads, because all that's going to be black is this webbing all the way around. So I'm just going to do, like I said, right here, half a bolt, and then just a couple pieces around. So we're just going to cut it into little sections like this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total. I've already got 1 on there, so I'm going to need 5. So we're going to flip it over. And we need 6 more, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then, since it doesn't have to be so right on, and all right, just gonna use my thin tape. I'm just gonna take and go here to there. And make sure you're covering everything. So I'm going to do the same thing on the back and then do the same thing on this, and then I'll shoot it and I'll be back to show you some stuff. All right, we are back from the paint booth, from everything, and I think I have everything set up except for my squeaking chair. We have the the disc brakes and the center sections for that. All right, we have parts C27 and C28, which attach to the tire, and those are painted in LP72, which is a mica silver. We have this fork brace up here, and it is painted in LP19, which is a gunmetal. So that is ready for attachment. We have the shock towers, or the shocks, whatever. We have those gloss black, which is LP1, which is right here. And then underneath there, which I haven't unmasked it yet, is our goldish color using the sparkling silver and the clear yellow. And then we have the LP11 that painted the bottom parts of the forks, and that's just a silver. So all we have left to paint before we start our assembly is these two pieces here, D34. Both of those are D34. All right, I think we are done with everything painting. The only thing I haven't done is use the chrome silver on little nuts and bolts. So we've got our disc brakes done, the centers, which I'm going to touch some bolt detail here after we glue it to the tire. We've got our tire. So we are on to step number 23, which is attaching the front wheel, all of this. So we are going to take our brakes, which the only part that I still have to do is take my my Maltiv pen, not pen, but my Maltiv paint, and touch these little bolts here, 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 all the way around. And I'm going to do this, 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 and this as well. I'm going to touch them on the back just in case you see it. I don't think you will. And then we got to paint the center section LP72, but I'm going to do that after it's all on the wheel itself. So we need C28 and C27 cut out, which we have right here. I'm going to cut out C28 first, which is right here. And I'm even going to touch those little bolt heads right there with chrome once I get it glued into position. Because this Maltiv is good chrome, but it's not very durable to handling. So we're going to grab our tire, get it orientated. So it's showing this little dot right here, this hole right here. So we know that C28 goes on the opposite side. So we are going to, it goes in here. Whoop. So it just fits in there like that. So make sure that notch is pointing down on the same as that hole, same spoke. So now that we know where it goes, get a little glue in there. And we'll put that notch pointing down like it asked us to. That little hole pointing down. Because this notch right here is going to assist us by putting these brakes on. So they all get lined up. This has a notch out of the circle to match the peg right there. So I'll glue this one on now. Let's see, 27. And that shows that little half moon shape pointing upwards. And it also has this little dot that goes into that hole there. So not much to figure out on how to put that piece on. We're just going to load some glue in there. A little bit of glue in here. A little bit around. And we're going to drop this right on there. Now, while that is drying, we're going to take a little bit of our Maltiv. Just going to touch these bolt heads. You just touch right down on the top of them. Very little pressure. As soon as I make contact, I'm trying to back away because I don't want them to bleed off. And then you can see what effect that gives you. So we're going to turn it over, do the same thing on this side. Okay. Easy peasy. And I think I'm going to leave that out because I'm about to do more with it. So now we flip it back over to where, so now C5 is the one with the, this one here. So C5 is going to go onto this. I'm just test fitting it right now to see if I need to do, if I need to pull those bolts or touch those bolts now or not. So I'm lining it up. So it's going to be tough to see those, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to touch right around the center where it looks like there's bolts, but it's just basically a flat spot. Now, you can see where there's, I don't know if you can or not, there's a little notch right here. And that little, this little rim right here has a, so we're just going to get some, not that much. That glue just goes right around where I need it. And we're going to take this, be sure not to touch those bolts that we just painted. Very fragile. Then we're going to just glue that in. Just turn it until it fits. And then we're going to just press it a little bit. And then now we have a tire to hold when we do the bolts out here. So we're going to repeat that same method here. Now we're going to do the same thing with this part. Let the glue flow right around. And we're going to grab this extremely carefully. Now both the brakes are on. So we're going to in a hurry, just take your time. Let it dab on. If it ever touches, and it doesn't call for this to be silver, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm just literally touching the top. As soon as I see the silver hit, I back right back off. So that helps just create, like I said, all the different colors just create the nice illusion. All right. And we know which side is which, because if you look at the diagram right here, you have this little circle part and it has all these little notches. And those notches are right there, whereas they are not on this side. So you know that the orientation is like this. So I'm not going to set that down now because it'll ruin my little chrome stuff. So I'm going to lean it against something over here off my bench because we have to paint those center hubs before we glue it as well. Center hubs are called to be LP72, same color as those. So we're going to grab LP72, which is mica silver. And we're just going to paint those hubs real quick before we assemble them onto the forks and all that good stuff. Hopefully we can avoid any touch-up, but if we have to, pretty easy to touch up because it's just LP5 semi-gloss black. And I think before we do anything, I may run a little bit of a wash down inside here. So now we'll go to this side. And we'll set that back up over here. All right, so now that step is ready and to be put onto the rim itself, which we are going to need. I did not see part D29, so I'll need to get that and paint that LP71, which is, what did we use LP71 with already? It's a champagne gold, so we do have the gold over here, so I'll go ahead and paint that. But most likely I'll paint that after I get it on. So might as well cut it out now. Because if I paint it after it's on, then I don't have to worry about it being touched. So we'll go with, let's see, D29. I'll try not to lose this because I've already lost one part today. Don't know where it went, but I pulled it from my other kit because I know I'll be able to replace it later. So I'll set that off to the side. And we need one long screw. We have two screws that come with this bike. One's longer, one's shorter. So this is too short, so we need this one. That is the screw that we're going to need to hold the rim on. So it looks like we need both of our forks. And we need both of our D34s, which I lost one of these. Now one of the, again, there's a couple parts that have to be painted here. These little bolt heads down here, and then that inner section has to be black. So since we have the Maltiv out, it's one. I'll load up our brush again. And all I'm doing is literally just touching and moving my hand away. Just so it's just touching the top. Simple little details. And I'll probably paint that gloss black part of it when I go back in, again, when it's attached, because I'll have something better to hold on to. Let's grab this fork here, which is D21, which I believe is this one. And we are going to glue one of these D34s. There's a hole here for this piece here. So that kind of connects to the side. So we're just going to run a little bead of glue right in there and let it go to town and do what it's supposed to. We do the same. Well, I think what we're going to have to do is remove some of that paint. I'm going to use, I think, super glue. Just to make sure it grabs the right way. And make sure that's pointing up. And we're going to grab one of the D34s. And we're going to apply a little super glue right along this edge. And along this edge. And along here. I'm going to grab you with the chrome bolts to the inside of the fork. I'm going to drop you right in place. And I'll take my glove hand, try not to touch those bolts. I'll squeeze it together. Not get any glue on our hands. And just like that, we have one of the shock parts done. So now I'm going to try to do the same thing with this side. A little bit of glue. Don't want to use too much. Oh my gosh, these things are so fiddly tonight. Sometimes something that seems so easy. See, now if you look, I've already touched and removed the silver that was on there for the bolts. So we will have to redo those after I get done touching all this and manhandling it. So let's grab a little bit more super glue. And we'll glue you here. I'll glue a little bit on the inside. And just a hint on the outside. And again, chrome bolts to the inside. A little squeeze. And we are going to do our bolts again here. Sometimes the toothpick works just fine. There we go. So we we got the forks glued. Now, all we have to do is attach this tire, which I left over here. And again, remembering our orientation, the grooves towards the back side. And we're going to might just have to separate the forks just a little bit for it to slide on in on one side and on the other. And we're going to run our screw down through here. It's through that side. So now I got to get it into the opposite side. There we go. Now we need our screwdriver that we had. There it is. And we're going to slowly turn, holding all this stuff in place. We're just going to turn. There you go. You now have a front wheel attached. Needs a panel line in here and here, but our chrome still looks fairly decent. We do need to touch up a little bit of chrome up here on the LP19, the gunmetal color. I got a little chrome up there during. All right, everyone. Apparently, I had some technical difficulties at the end of that video, and I lost a lot of footage, which I can't get back because the steps are already done. So I figured I would show you how everything turned out before moving on to the next step. So it moved. This is how it all came together at the end. So we got a little bit of wash on everywhere. We got the gold, okay, it's not gonna, the gold nut at the end of the forks there. Also on both sides, we got our chrome bolts and carbon fiber up here with our chrome. Wow. Trying not to lose focus on it. So, pretty happy with the way everything turned out. So our next step has us building the calipers and things like that. So hopefully I won't have any more technical difficulties and lose it. I test fitted it on the bike, and I'm liking it a lot. So we are going to wrap this video up with this weird addendum. But I thank you guys for watching, as always. I hope these videos are helping. Give me some comments. Let me know if you like them. Go ahead and click that like button. And if you haven't subscribed and you want to, hit that subscribe button. So hope you have a great night. Thanks again for watching.